I think I might get the wand next. Like maybe the wand will be better.
I think it's fine.
It's like a fucking rat's nest.
No good?
No. It's okay.
Do you want to sit this one out?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good. If no one notices, then it's fine. It's just I fell trap to those Instagram sponsored posts.
This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned in to episode 47 of The Real Word. Word is up.
What's up?
What's up?
Hi.
Thank you, everybody that commented, whether it was on Inman or on our YouTube page, which if you're not following, by the way, you should definitely subscribe to that, regarding our last week's episode and regarding the Zillow topic. Really
love it. Everyone
love the engagement.
Everyone loves talking about Zillow.
What I will say is that's going to be a continuous conversation for the foreseeable future, obviously with changes, and we're just, it is what it is.
We got a lot of great feedback too, so it's interesting to see what everybody's take is, especially because they're obviously it's so different in different parts of the country. So that was fun.
So many of you have made the comment, whether on the comments or in a DM or whatever, or just in these
I don't get
Facebook
any DMs.
Groups. DM Nicole. Put her Instagram handle up there. DM Nicole White. But a lot of you have made comments, even on Facebook groups, that you have dropped your Zillow spend. I wouldn't get emotional about the changes. I would be strategic. See what happens. Certainly drop now, but continue to watch. That's just, that'd be my piece of advice. But today, our main topic is about a discount broker, Trelora. We've talked about Trelora in the past. They're a startup in Denver, and Trelora is telling buyers to ditch agents and keep their commissions. So if you're a buyer and you hear this type of aggressive marketing, it can be very enticing.
It's super enticing. I think that it goes, I feel like I read it and I feel like it's against, is that like a kickback?
When you read this, they're getting.
You can do that?
Yeah.
You can give incentives like that? Oh, because they're not licensed real estate agents, but they would.
No, they are. But here's, and I don't want to get into that.
No, I know, but that's what I think. I'm like,
And we link up every single article. So this article is linked up so you can read it in its entirety.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did notice. What I noticed in the article is Trelora, who I've actually said, hey, they're being upfront about what they're doing. I haven't said, some people are like, I hate Trelora. There's a lot of agents with venom.
Right.
And I've just kind of said, like, do your thing. Whatever it is, do your thing.
Yep.
When I read this article, I get the sense that Trelora is unclear what their thing is. Meaning, they write, they're encouraging sellers to offer 2.8% commissions. Right. But then, at the same token, they used to just offer $3,000, which is what they offer. Yeah. But however, the company is still making proactive pitch to just completely ditch your agent and not do any commissions. So there's a lot of mixed messaging.
Well, did you actually read the article, or did you?
I read the whole thing.
Yeah, because it was talking about actually offering the 2.8, because in the article it talks about the fact that because they were offering sort of this like flat rate, that buyers agents were actually keeping their clients from previewing the properties. They were telling their clients that the property was either sold, or one example was that like the house had a bunch of mold. So in order to help the sellers be successful on their platform, they were actually recommending their sellers to offer out a 2.8% commission so that agents still wanted to come. In their minds, it's still cheaper, because if you're, they were giving the commission rate of 6% on a $500,000 home is like $3,000, and through their platform, I think it's $500 to sign up, and then $2,500 you have to pay at the end. So you're still saving yourself potentially, tens of thousands of dollars depending on your thing. But what it sounds like they're trying to do is they want to make the industry a little bit more transparent. My only problem with buyers going directly to sellers is that this is such an emotional transaction that, like, I think in some situations, people can really keep it business, but in I would say majority of situations, I think it's so helpful to have an agent like just to manage everyone's expectations, feelings,
for most people. And I think that if you're a consumer that wants to be left on your own, that wants to get your hands dirty, Trelora, they're going to leave you on your own, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
Trelora could be the solution for you if you want to be hands-on, if you want to play part-time real estate agent. I think it could be. I haven't used the service, but it could be a great service.
Yeah.
What I think is now, and certainly Trelora makes a lot of news, by the way, for a company that only has 400 listings.
I think they have 500.
No, it says has about 400 listings in this article.
Yeah.
They make a lot of noise for a company that has so little of listings. They need to really scale this thing. And Josh Hunt, the CEO, who I've met and who I met at Swanepoel and who I thought took some heat there, has certainly taken some heat in the press, who I thought has always done a good job representing the brand and himself, I thought did a poor job here. He says, and this is what he told Inman, agents are going to shit themselves. They're going to be pissed. Dude, you don't want to do that. That's not the approach. I mean, if you're questioning that you're getting blackballed out of the market and then you make a comment like that, that's the quickest way to get yourself blackballed, because we fully admitted that there are agents out there that will blackball you.
Right.
And if you want to be Mr. Tough Guy, you're going to get punched in the mouth. I don't think that's the approach to take.
No, I will say, though, that the approach that he has taken is working because we're talking about him. So
100%.
I think, too, I think
he's getting attention.
Yeah, so I think that's obviously, in my mind, his intent here, because you're saying, because of the 400.
But
I
Nicole,
mean, clearly there's been too much talk about everybody else making
I
a
agree
mix.
with you. Okay, so he's got the attention.
Right.
But if consumers go to your product and you can't back it up, meaning if all the work gets put onto their plate, ultimately, I don't think it scales, because I think the majority of people want to be able to go somewhere and say, this is what I need for my house. Can you get it sold? Yes or no? Tell me when the closing date is.
It's essentially like a glorified FSBO site.
100%.
Yeah.
Racket, that brings us to racket number 1.
We're on it.
All right. And racket number 1 ties into Trelora.
I'm following your lead.
Because racket number 1 is essentially the same thing as Trelora. It's a discount broker, but disguised as something else. JD Manning, big shout out to you, my friend.
Love it.
Thank you for the DM and the 3 links that you sent in for us to talk about.
I'm bummed that we didn't make signs for ourselves.
So JD Manning, he is an agent in Arizona, which is the battlefield for all of these new startup companies. And there are signs popping up. We're getting into elections. We're deep into election season, not getting in.
We're almost at the end,
luckily. And there are a ton of signs, and you've seen them, whatever state you're in right now, for elections, right? And they have vote for Homie for Senate signs throughout their marketplace. So people are like, Homie, as in HOMIE, for Senate.com. They're hitting this site. And when you go on this site, Homie for Senate.com.
It's got a pig with glasses.
It's got a teal pig with glasses on.
It's an interesting color choice, but I like it.
And it says significant change is coming to your pocket. That's enticing to just about everybody.
Like it.
Right? So now you see teal party platform. 1, 2, 3, and there's different bullet points. When I first saw this, because I'm like, JD, what are you sending me here? I don't care about your Arizona politics whatsoever at all.
I love it.
And I'm like, there's a new party called the Teal Party. Is that like the Tea Party? And I didn't know what it was.
That's you just skimming the article.
That's me skimming. Then I click the call to action, and it's visit homie.com, which is homie.com, which is they're trying to drive everybody to. Buy and sell your home through Homie. We save home sellers over $10,000 on average, and most Homie buyers qualify for a $5,000 refund. So similar to Trelora,
sweet deal.
Buyers get a refund. Sellers can do this discount brokerage. Why pay $18,000? So they're basically saying a $300,000 home at a 6% commission would pay $18,000. Why pay the $18,000 to sell your home? And this is what I would say to Homie. You got a very cute site. It's clean. They're claiming they've saved $30 million to customers. I'd love to see the number of transactions you've done. But anyways.
It's ticking, look.
And it's ticking up. Every second they're saving more people more money.
Yeah.
certainly, if you've got a business plan that works for consumers, you're going to win in the end. But do most sellers want to do? And if you're only saving them $10,000.
Wait, what's the racket? Are we talking about the homie being the racket or the signs being the racket?
Oh, true. What do you think? Are the signs a racket?
I think we're supposed to be talking about the signs.
All right. Are the signs a racket?
I don't give two fooks about homie. I just think that homie's doing a fabulous job. The only thing that
because here's the thing.
No, but
I don't think most consumers, going back to Trelora, want to do $10,000 worth of the work. They want to go do their regular job so they can make money. But do you think the signs are a racket? Do you think it was misleading to do that?
Oh, well, it's all misleading. I guess the only thing that I'm curious about, since I'm not in the Arizona market, is I wonder if there's any sort of fine, because you are kind of technically trespassing, because you have to actually authorize a candidate to put a sign on your property. So I'm curious where these homie signs are going up. Like, is it on every person's property? Like,
there are 3 links, and so
I'm curious.
Swab, we'll have you link up all 3 for this racket.
I'm curious what exactly is going on in Arizona. I think it's funny. I think it's super tongue in cheek. I mean, why not take advantage of like sort of this situation? I mean, there are signs everywhere. My kids actually are asking me more questions than I want to answer about what is state senate? Who is this guy? Who is he running against? Who is she? Who is she running against? I don't even know the answers, but I wing them. So this homie thing I think is kind of fun.
This is straight from the PhoenixNewTimes.com. The city of Phoenix hasn't reached out to us on any of these signs yet, wrote Noodle.
Noodle?
Well, I don't know. It's spelled K-Noodle. Canoodle?
Oh, my
Lord. Is that the last name?
It was like co-living. I didn't know how to freaking say it.
The director of PR for.
Oh Lord. See, you need to read articles before you go on.
No,
camera.
I knew that it was in here, so I'm referencing it.
It's like your brain's
the
hiccuping.
whole article's there. One thing I cannot do. If you haven't noticed,
I think there's more than
if
one
you've been
thing.
watching The Real Word, there is one thing I can't do.
Just one?
Of the many, but there's one thing I think that is quite clear on The Real Word. I cannot read and talk at the same time, which is why I don't read on the 5 a.m. call, which the few times I have read, they've been terrible calls because I just sound like an idiot when I try to read and talk.
We'll let them read the articles, but I think that what our friend was trying to send us was more of the signs. The signs were causing
If they don't get in trouble,
ruckus.
it's not a racket because you got attention.
You got tons of
attention.
Wins. I kind of want to post our signs around.
All right, here is something that I think is a major racket. Racket number 2. NAR is warning teams of a government crackdown on just teams in general. But NAR doesn't have, like most things NAR talks about,
go ahead,
have any whatsoever examples of how they're going to crack down. They've said maybe some marketing stuff, but just wait, they're going to crack down. NAR, enough with your fear-mongering bullshit. If you have something that we should be looking into as team operators, as brokers, as brokerages, as agents, then say it. If you don't, then STFU. You really need to come with the facts on this one. If there's a government crackdown coming, protect your peeps in NAR, protect your association, and let them know about it. Okay, you referenced that there was 24 states that have actually made laws regarding teams, and they all have to do with advertising. But don't be vague and generic, just like this article. And I don't blame whoever wrote this article for Inman. I'm going to look it up right now. But I don't blame her. I think it was a her for your lack of information. No, because I think it was Kearns. I'm going to bring it up right now. But I don't blame whoever wrote the article for NAR's lack of information. It was Andrea Brambilla, a staff writer for Inman. I don't blame Andrea. I blame Bob Goldberg, the CEO, who is not providing any details of how the government's going to crack down on teams. Here's the thing.
Stick it to them. Tell me you really feel.
And then here's the other thing too. Here's the bigger racket. If the government wants to crack down on teams, guess what that's going to do? That's going to cause more teams to just become brokerages. So brokers and NAR protect the one thing that's actually working for the consumer in this industry, which has been teams over the last 3, 4, 5 years. Zillow would agree to that because Zillow knows that when they drop a lead to a professional team that's running a tight ship, that the consumer gets connected most of the time. They know that 50% of people haven't been connected.
I think a lot of the I think this article is a little misleading, is that there are already,
This article's a joke.
it is a little bit of a joke, because there are already like rules and like regulations that we, even as like real estate agents working under a brokerage, have to follow. And a majority of the examples that they gave were already like practices that like are like that you have to follow regardless. Like you have to say what brokerage you're in. You can't call yourself team like a, you know, like we're one company. You can't be like one real estate. You know, like those are the types of things that are a little misleading to the consumer.
They don't want you to mislead to be a brokerage.
A brokerage, right.
But listen, if you're a team that's operating, you're probably operating as an LLC. You're a company anyways. So you disclose that you're a company or not.
Right.
I mean,
well, it was talking about licensed agents, not licensed agents. I mean, it was a lot of words.
Let's get something straight here. An individual agent, by the way, is its own company. An individual agent, by the way, should be their own LLC.
Yes.
So are you disclosing that to the consumer? I mean, it just gets really stupid sometimes when.
Well, maybe it was just like a light real estate week, and there needed to be a topic.
Yeah. Well, maybe hopefully we just fired it up. I'd love your 2 cents on, you know, what NAR does with their free time besides sending out misleading messages like this. And I would love your 2 cents if you're in one of those 24 states that have, you know, put together a law against teams, and if it's impacted you in any way.
I think another one was like the size of your team had to be the same size as like the brokerage name. It was all kind of mumbo jumbo-y, but anyway,
so
we're talking about.
Do you think that's a racket?
I think it's a racket that we spent time reading
it. It's pretty clear it's a racket
because there was nothing even to read. But.
All right. Racket number 3, KW agents get fired over building out an Alexa skill company. So I want to make that clear. They built out an entire company, not just an Alexa skill for their team or for, you know, if they were individual agents, whatever, but it's an actual company that other Keller Williams agents in the country, as well as other agents in general could subscribe to and use the service. And I think it's like a zip code type thing like Zillow.
Yeah, well, it sounds, I mean, in the article, they did want, it sounded like they were wanting Keller Williams agents to sort of pop up first, because in this Alexa app that you download, it's a free app that you can download to your Echo, and you can go into a house, or maybe it's just your own personal Echo.
David,
but you can like ask for an agent.
Yeah,
I mean, they're killing it as agents.
You can say, where can I find an agent? How much is my house worth?
Right.
You know, these types of things, these skills that they built in, and then you as Nicole could say, hey, in my zip code, can I be the premier agent or whatever they're going to call their thing? David Bramante and Kayla Horwat.
Love it. Why not?
Possibly.
Stick with it.
Say
Own it.
Keller Williams Silicon Beach dropped them and sent out a malicious email warning agents against their lead generation platform, which is called My Home Agent. And so essentially, I'm going to break it down. You can read the article. We're going to link it up. What happened was their Keller Williams, which is the Silicon Beach Keller Williams, said to them, hey, we want to have a meeting about your My Home Agent, which they offered out to Keller Williams agents, and then they offered it out to competing brokers. Wait a minute,
I feel like the name is called Homie again. I think Homie's in there. My Homie?
No.
There was a Homie.
No, it's My Home Agent.
I thought there was something again about Homie. I feel like we had like a reoccurring
try not to
Homie
derail me
theme.
here.
I'm sorry.
So they asked for a meeting.
Yep.
It'd be like me and you starting this company, and then our broker saying, hey, can I have a meeting with you guys about it? So they said to their broker, they said, hey, give us an agenda what this meeting is going to be about.
Right.
Do you think that's a racket of a question?
100% fair.
Good question, right?
Yeah, I feel like you asked me for agendas.
I asked Nicole for agendas.
You feel like you waste your time with me.
She'd be like, hey, you want to go to lunch? What are we talking about? I don't know.
I just want to hang out with you.
We got a lot of stuff to cover.
God forbid.
Okay, give me an example of one. So they said to their broker, give us an agenda on the meeting, and they wanted to talk about the platform that they had created. The broker didn't have an agenda. So they said, we're not going to take the meeting. They're super busy people. By the way,
$700 million
in sales for Keller Williams. Crazy. The Keller Williams that fired him. So that's interesting to me and tells me there's probably a little bit more behind the story than
there's
what's
something.
written.
It just isn't.
Don't just get rid of $700 million in sales.
No, because what's crazy is that they just went to another Keller Williams brokerage.
And they went to a different Keller Williams brokerage. Now they're questioning whether they should be with KW or not. That's not what this is about.
No.
But the broker couldn't give them an agenda. So honestly, if this went down the way it reads, I think the broker was going to try to scare them into stopping their platform,
Yeah.
stopping produce it. So they didn't take the meeting. The next day, they were basically informed by the board that they didn't have a cooperating broker anymore, and the license got dropped. So then they had to go hang their license with a new brokerage. You know, they were locked out of their email. All this kind of stuff that happens when somebody cans you.
I feel like I have so many questions.
I would say
So many questions.
the big racket here is if brokerages think that they're going to interfere, and this is going back to the last one here, if brokerages think they're going to interfere with independent contractors' personal businesses, whether be it teams or independent agents, you guys are really spending your time in the wrong place. These are independent contractors that run their own business that produce, $700 million for you.
I mean, I can understand if they were like stealing your leads or
every single
$700 million.
Every single
like,
agent.
Pow.
Listen, everybody's coming for our commissions. Every single agent should be figuring out how they can produce a product or a platform or another stream of revenue. And if they have insight on the industry and they're good at Alexa skill, why shouldn't they build this out? And okay, if you don't want them producing the $700 million in sales for you, they'll go find somebody else, or they'll just start their own brokerage.
I mean,
These guys could have started their own brokerage.
Come to Connecticut, we'll take you.
CT.
Gotta.
From California to CT.
Whatever,
That's possible. The emails in here, they wrote an email to all of their Keller Williams other agents saying, we are not affiliated with this, and basically the 10 people that were Keller Williams agents that had signed up in that office the next day canceled. So there was obviously significant influence. Why that particular KW brokerage has a hair across their ass on this, I don't know. But there are 400 other agents across the country that have signed up. I'm sticking up for the agent today, all day, every day.
Gotta.
This is the realest word in real estate by far.
The realest.
By far. Because here's the thing. And if you guys have been following along and you followed this show all the way to the end, we may not always, we're going to just talk about things in a very neutral perspective. We may not know how to read.
Or do their hair properly, but
we will start the conversation. And we are only doing this show because we're interested in the agent and the teams and the agents within the country to have the information, to have the conversation, and be prepared for what's coming, and at least have the conversation together. And we're learning from you guys as much as hopefully you're learning from us. So that's why we do the show, and that's why it is the realest show.
The realest.
You're learning a lot?
I learn a lot from you.
All right. We'll talk about it at lunch or something one day. That's the word.
That is it.
All right.
It's the final word?
That's the final word.
We
used to do the final word?
We used to do the final word.
Shout out to the final word. If anyone remembers that, drop us a comment.
Yeah, that was a year ago. Did you see I did a little year in review? That was a fun one when we didn't even have microphones.
Things have gotten a lot better. Thanks to Sam and Suave now hooking us up. So appreciate everybody. Appreciate the comments. Please, if you're not subscribed, do that. Make a comment.
And DM me, right?
And DM.
Throw me a DM.
Throw Nicole a DM on IG, for crying out loud.
Come on.
We'll see you guys next week.